Nanobug is based on the idea of making human walkie-talkies by putting just a little bit of powder in somebody's food or their drink, and it gets in their bloodstream, and it combines with their nervous system by a amino acid or something to that effect. Maybe like there are some poisons that combine with the nervous system, maybe the constituent from that poison that causes it to combine with the nervous system, excluding the poison part of it, um, combined with a AM crystal radio, which is two crystals and a conductor. So if you got 2 parts crystal and then 1 part conductor, and then throw in the amino acid, and you cook it all down to this powder, and now you got nanobugs because the AM crystal radio is only a molecule big, and each one of them is attached to the amino acid that'll combine with the nervous system. All right, and the crystals work both ways. That when they vibrate at a high rate of speed, they send out electricity, and that can be picked up from space and beamed back down to the brown recluses. Brown recluses. That's in the book. The brown recluses are the feds. So, are something like the Men in Black, except there's no aliens. So anyway, what we got here is or the radio can be a radio, and the crystals vibrate. Now, the AM crystal radio, that's a fact. That's something that you can make, and they used to home make them a lot back in the early days. But now you can see places online that try to sell you AM crystal radio kits and stuff like that. Well, those kits actually have a little bit more than you have to have to create a AM crystal radio. And there's ways to make FM radios with just like 3 resistors. I've seen that online too. But moving right along, that's the book Nanobugged is based on that, and it's a true story, and it's got a lot of psychology and a lot of technology and conspiracy. And that's a true story. In December 2003, the 21st Century Nanotechnology Research and Development Act became Public Law 10853-53. All right, this ensures the government decides what happens in public funded labs and privately owned nanotechnology labs. All right, it's a way. Well, they pretty much got their nose in all of it, which you arguably that's a good thing in a way, because in a way, well, but then again, I mean, if somebody's going to go rogue with the nanotechnology, they're just not going to tell the government they're doing it in the first place. So they're working with nanotechnology in the first place. So I mean, um, I guess well, there you go. It also authorized 3.7 billion for nanotechnology research development from 2005 to 2008. And that's steady been going up. This right here is the 2009. Now this right here is the as of 2009, it's the world's smallest radio. And here, I'll play a little bit of it for you. See this cat whisker thing they got going on here? I'm not sure what's up with the cat whisker thing. It looks like a cat whisker, right? maybe I don't know if they got that little radio on the end of a cat whisker, but the thing is, it's vibrating at the same. So I don't know if y'all even got that. Let me see if I can play it right here. Uh, because I changed screens. So let's do it again. All right, this right. See the right here, the cat whisker I'm talking about. So if it's vibrating, if that is a cat whisker and it's vibrating that cat whisker that much, then um, that's uh, pretty powerful resonance there, right? So my point is, we go over here to the next slide, and that radio looks like this and is amplified, is the amplified version of what I came up with in the book nanobugged. This is what it looks like right here. This is your this is, of course, it's only a molecule big, so this right here is your resonance. This right here would be like the crystal vibrating right here, because that's what they pretty much got right here. They got a nanotube of a carbon tube, and it's vibrating right here from the crystal on the end of it. And this right here is the other crystal on the other. And this right here is where they amplify it, because not all the electrons are used in the resonance of the radio there, and so the ones that escape are collected by this right here, this plate right here, or I'm not sure what kind of they have right here, but they have something right here that collects those electrons with a positive valence, obviously, and it it that power is like I said, collected and then put right back into the system, and then that that amplifies the whole thing. So basically, it's like, I think they would call that a transistor. That's kind of what transistors do. They 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 introduce electrons into the flow of electrons, and boost it and amplify it. All right. In a human, the amp is not needed. So if these right here were in your nervous system, the amp would not be needed, because it's vibrating. Um, the the vibration is enough to trick the brain into thinking the sound is from the environment. It is heard in the ears. So if this is vibrating on the nerve endings in the ear, your brain's going to interpret that as sound, just like sound waves vibrating the nerve endings in the ear. So, and Einstein's got a words of wisdom there. Technological progress is like an axe in the hands of a pathological criminal. Okay. Well, there you go, right there. Let that sink in for a minute. And that is just crazy talk. Reading minds, right? Reading minds. That's crazy talk. we'll update that. The EEG detects the electrical impulses of the brain without digging into the skull. The brain is a walkie-talkie by nature. The neurons firing off in the brain do uh, emit EMF, electromagnetic force, which is pretty much which is radio waves. So the same thing as radio waves. So, or I guess it is radio waves. So anyway, so um, but it's very weak. But they don't have to dig into your skull to detect these things, and they can pick up those radio waves, you know, from a from from sensors on the outside of the skull. One of those patterns that is growing in popularity within the research community is the use of brain waves obtained from an electroencephalogram, or EEG. We'll call it EEG. Several research groups around the country have recently showed systems which use EEG to authenticate users with very high accuracy. So they're putting these sensors around people's heads, and they're able to identify that person by their train of thought, pretty much. However, those brain waves can tell more about a person than just his or her identity. It could reveal medical behavior, behavioral, behavioral, or emotional aspects of a person that, if brought to light, could be embarrassing or damaging to that person. And with EEG devices becoming much more affordable, accurate, and portable, and applications being designed that allows people to more readily read an EEG scan, the likelihood of that happening is dangerously high. Well, there you go. So they're this right here is admitting that they're able to somewhat read people's mind. They can tell whether you're happy, thinking happy thoughts, or sad thoughts, or um, fear. So and there's and beyond that, the EEG has become a commodity application, and it goes on saying for $100, you can read this right here. For $100, you can buy an EEG device that fits your head like a pair of headphones, and you can download apps onto your phone and control your phone, the apps on your phone, with your thinking, with brain signals. Now, I've also seen online where they've got simulators, like flight simulators, for um, for uh, they got the flight simulators rigged up to where your thinking can, well, the thinking of the pilot controls the plane. Now, that kind of, I don't know exactly how that works, because it would, to me, it sounds like, well, if I'm thinking, well, bank left, like turn left, there's another part of my brain that's thinking, right, the shadow, I guess the shadow thoughts, are thinking, right, so how, I don't know so is it able to distinguish between the stronger thought and the less uh, and less the shadow thought, I guess that's what I call it, the shadow thought. So is it able to do that, or does it ask I don't know, maybe you have to give a command like yeah, if you don't say, well, I don't know, even when you give the command you're going to think I think the command the other way at the same time, you know, uh, just naturally. So I don't know how that works. You see, um, more research on that would tell me more. I got a cousin that works on flight simulators and stuff. I'm gonna have to get with him on that one. But the good news for now is the technology is still quite expensive. However, there is a likelihood the prices will drop, and civilian applications of this technology will become more available, and um, they're trying to minimize the leakage of sensitive personal information through these technologies. Okay, so another thing about this right here is this is what they're telling us is possible. Now, there's a lot more to it than that, because um, they're they're not going to tell us everything, because they're using a lot of it with military, and well, that's where nanobug comes into play. In reality, the EEG is good for detecting broad strokes of thought at close range. Nanobugs, as the ones in nanobugged and in nervous, to be nervous, nervous systems around the world, are perfect for mapping phonics of thought. Um, so here's the deal: if you got an EEG that can detect all that, on the outside. Now imagine having nanobugs combined with the nervous system. If it's AM crystal radios combined with the nervous system, and your neurons firing give a lot more detailed um, picture of what's going on, because it'd be like having a CAT scan, where they turn the molecules in your body, the hydrogen molecules and stuff. I believe it's the hydrogen. They cause them to vibrate at a frequency, and that frequency sends out an EMF, and that electromagnetic force is a little different throughout throughout the throughout the body. The different matter, the different molecules in the body have a different the hydrogen vibrate, and that right there is what turns into that 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 radio waves coming from that hydrogen is what is turned back into a picture, or turned into a picture, and that's why they get detailed. Uh, well, that's a CAT scan, MRIs, detailed MRIs, and that's I think a CAT scan is more like, I believe, more like an X-ray. So yeah, the MRI is so if you didn't just give up on me right there when I said CAT scan and turn me off, I'm still here, and I fixed all that. So it's the MRI. In 2001, the DoD announced the development of the Defense University Research Initiative of Nanotechnology. Darn it. I like that. The Darn It program is an initiative designed to enhance the capabilities of universities to perform basic science and engineering research, and related education in nanotechnology critical to national defense. And that's the way they got it figured. They figure, well, it makes sense. If they're going to come up with all this technology, they got to start training people how to use it. And I kind of think that they're probably already know what what they're capable of, because they're introducing it to the college in little bits, like letting them kind of rediscover what's already been done years ago. But a lot of stuff is new. I mean, they discover a lot of new stuff, I imagine. But there's a lot of stuff that that they're that they would kind of ease people into it, because they can't handle the truth, right? And the DoD is working. They're in all the nanotechnology colleges. This right here is University of California, Santa Barbara, and Naval Research Laboratory in developments of its nano-related projects. Now, what's interesting about this is the University of California, I believe it is, and I think the other one's at the Naval Research Laboratory. There's two. Well, as of the beginning of this year, as of 2016, they have quantum computers. And if you're not familiar with quantum computers, that is using something called entanglement, where they put two particles together and they let them get entangled, and that means they have an effect on each other, right? And then when they split them apart, they can split them apart miles, and they can split them apart light years. And when they do something with this one, it instantaneously has an effect on the other one. And it's not the speed of light. It doesn't take any time for that action to get from one place to the other. It happens instantly. So it's what Einstein called spooky, and they're using that in computers uh, for called quantum computers. And what this does is it instead of just an on and off switch like you have zeros and ones in a computer, the quantum computer, it can be on and off at the same time, and it doesn't have to when it doesn't have to send out an electrical pulse through all this other stuff to get to where it's intended other switches. It instantaneously changes the other switches, So it's some deep stuff, man. It's some deep stuff. So, and that's not theory anymore. Like I said, that's actually happening, and they've proved all that going down. So, a search in Google Analytics yielded the country with the most searches per capita for information on nanotech from 2004 till present, and that is Iran. Now, that's kind of, and the close second there is Istanbul, and it's not it's not oil, because I've compared it to other countries with oil, and it doesn't it they're not researching nanotechnology like Iran is. There's something else up with that. There's something up with Iran and nanotechnology, and um, I'm pretty sure that it's got a lot to do with why we're over there. and all this other stuff. Maybe I'm wrong, but all this other stuff could just be a smokescreen, right? Or part of the deal, but they don't tell us about the nanotechnology. You know why? Because we can't handle the truth. Maybe they know that they're infested with human bugs over there. Maybe they're always researching it to see. And it showed in Google Analytics that it was. I think that most of the searches are done on nanotechnology in the realm of law and government. So, as opposed to say quantum computers and nanotechnology, which it still goes into law and government and military stuff right there too, because that pretty much that does away with the AM crystal radio setup right here. It says researchers trace neural activity by using quantum sensors. So that's what I was getting at. This replaces the AM crystal setup with entangled particles. The entangled particle is what makes the quantum computer work. So instead of having to send radio waves in and out of a human being to hear what's going on around them, or to talk to them, and where they hear it in their ears, and that comes out nanobugged. Maybe it sounds crazy to some people. Some people probably like, oh yeah, no doubt in my mind they're doing it right. But when you read nanobugged, it's uh, it's a true story, and it all falls into place, and it's some deep stuff, man. But you don't get lost. It's a true story. So but it's laid out in a flow. It's got good flow, So it's not erratic. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it's not erratic. So it flows. That's what I like to say about Nineveh. Well, I wrote it, but it is good though. I most certainly realize that my thinking may seem far out to some and absolutely insane to others. To put that in perspective, I could not agree more. Crazy is closer to the truth. I also researched another name from the government research accounts in Epic.org that was on the second slide of this. And I tried to write it out and where you could understand it, but this is this is really this is not this is not this is not me saying, oh, this crazy thing happened, and so it got to prove this or that. It's not that. This is me saying that one of the points in the book, that when when people are well, we could take this all the way into the false news now coming out, and false news, and how people can twist that into realities, when it's really nothing real about it. But there are little things happening here and there that make it that you can piece it all together, and oh, look at the big picture. But then maybe you take out that false news, and the whole thing falls apart, because the false news is a lie. It's just a straight lie. But then some things that are called false news are not false. People they're just assumed to be false because they're uh, maybe they don't have tangible proof, right? But that doesn't mean it's false, right? So anyway, the deal with this is, though, it was kind of weird that I looked up this on that Epic.org. I looked up who contributed to the articles, and I found this word Maryland, Maryllinn. All right, now that is exactly like the girl in the second chapter of my book, Maryland, spelled the same way without the extra N on the end. You know, so I said, wow, that's pretty coincidental. Two misspellings of Maryland, and I made one of them up. I I was referring to Marilyn Monroe, but instead of spelling it like Marilyn Monroe, I decided to spell it a little different. Just just for the just for the kick, just for kicks. So, but that was kind of crazy. So I said, well, let's see what's going on with this Maryland girl right here. Um, that is well, lady, the Maryland scientist that was in the Epic org, um, contributed to the Epic org uh, report um, that was dealing with the government and all that. I think that report the Epic org, that report was taken from the scientists, not taken, but re reposted, and but it was originally posted from the scientists to the government officials that were, you know, um, needing to know what's going on with the nanotechnology. So here we go, Maryland. Let's spell things. So I go look up this Maryland Dares, who's the scientist. I look up Maryland Dares and on Facebook, and Miss Maryland Dares was not on Facebook. That name matched nobody on Facebook. That's what my results showed. Now, I got a close, a close. Well, actually, it wasn't really close. The only thing that was like about it was instead of Dares with a D, it was Ayers. A name come back with Ayers, and it was like the first one up there, Ayers. So I said, well, that's the closest thing we got. Let's see what's up with that. So I clicked on this, and then so bam, there's this girl on there, and she's looking like the girl that I imagined. There was a chick that talked to me when I was hearing the voices in my ear, which is in nanobugged. I don't hear them anymore. They quit in 2004, but while they were talking, there was this chick that talked to me sometimes. When it was her shift, because they worked in shifts. Well, I don't want to get too far off on that while I'm talking about Maryland. So here's what we do. We'll say Maryland um, led me to this Ayers chick, and this Ayers chick was looking like the girl that I imagined Tiffina looking like, the one talking to me. Okay, and the reason I imagined her looking like that more than anything was because I saw I was at Kmart, and this girl was talking to the cashier, and she kept looking out of her corner of her eye at me, while she was talking to the cashier. And I got these the other brown recluses, the fed. The I got them sitting there hollering in my ear. That's her, Taylor. That's Tiffina, Taylor. You're looking at Tiffina, and her voice did sound like Tiffina's, and the pronunciation 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 of her words, and it followed Tiffina's, but there again, I wasn't freaking out and like, oh God, this has got to be Tiffina. No, what was it? Big coincidence, what have you. Somewhere out there's probably millions of um, women that sound like Tiffany would sound. And there happened to be one at Kmart. But anyway, but just by coincidence, here's this girl that looks like Tafina, right? And so, I imagine Tafina looking like. So we scroll down. I scroll down a little bit further on the um, on the website, on the Facebook page of this Ayers chick, and bam, there it is. It's the Ayers girl has a total Marilyn Monroe makeover, right? And I said, well, that just brought it full circle because I mean, I mean, you got Marilyn, and then Marilyn again, Marilyn Monroe. uh, three, that's three. But I guess the likelihood of that happening is pretty good because there it was, and just coincidence. But see things like that with people who are who they don't necessarily have to be um, mentally ill or mentally challenged or whatever you want to call it, schizophrenic or just a little out there or what have you. That this happens in everyday life, and well, some would blame it on a deity like God, or not blame it, but credit it to a God, or they might blame it on the devil if it was something of a more sinister thing. So, are they angels, or are they made or are they made? Wow, that's a big coincidence. Or they might go, like, okay, this is proof. I was a human bug. There's no denying I was a human bug. How and that's got to be Tiffina. That has to be Tiffina right there because how else is this going to lead to her? So people, I guess, you know, uh, it's crazy to think about, but that's how life is. Um, this is a link. This right here, this link uh, to the report on nanotechnology, this and the privacy concerns of um, nanotechnology, and this was done in 2004. This link was put on there, and you can search and uh, see the things that are claiming are the cutting edge, but it's not the cutting edge. What we're seeing is what we see is um, years ago's cutting edge, probably, right, on a lot of it. Like I said, though, they do a lot. Some of it is new, but a lot of it, some of it we don't know about, especially the things dealing with privacy concerns, because it's a national security thing, and so if you're releasing Taliban dudes from from Guantanamo Bay over there, uh, if you're releasing Taliban dudes as terrorists and putting them on parole or what have you in their own country, and they're pretty much guaranteed. What are they going to do? Report their probation officer over there in Iran or something? But they're still they're probably no different from most 98% of the criminals in the world. I'm glad I straightened up, right? But 98, they stay doing what they're doing. They don't change. No, probably as a lot of us do as we get older. But then, what I'm trying to say is so you bug them. You put this powder in their food or their drink or what have you, and you say, you know what, we're gonna let you go, and you let them go. And now you're listening to everything that's going on around them, right? And you can hear, and if they're going to dealing in terrorism again, well, there you go. You're wrapping up whole terrorist cells because you're listening to this guy, you know, talk to his fellow terrorist. So, behold, a little bitty bug. That's what's up with that. And I will. Here's the. Let's see. I'll click on this right here, and let you see the. Right here, we'll have the privacy implications of nanotechnology is right here. So there's the. If you want to look at that, right there is your link to it. epic.org/privacy/nano/ right there. So I suppose you can see this. I left the page again. I don't know if you can see when I leave the page. I'm doing this by recording it. And what else I have here is nanobugged, and this right here will lead us to the Amazon nanobugged, nanobugged, one word, two G's. You can Google that. Nanobugged. It's the original word. It's the only word, nanobugged, and it will be right up there at the top. It's one word, two G's, ed, nanobugged, and it's also available on Barnes and Noble. It's available on Create Space, and it's available on Books A Million. So there's several places that this book is available. It's $14 for paperback, but you can find they say new and used versions right here. You can get right here this other. They have 9 new versions for $10 of the paperback, and another place got 2 used ones for $13.03. But the used ones aren't really used. When a third party buys the book, that they'll say it's been used because it's in third party hands, but it's still brand new. They're not printing it until somebody orders it. So those are really new. So anyway, some people don't know that. And Kindle, you can download it for Kindle for $2.49 on Kindle. And here's some look inside right here on Amazon, and you can see some of the chapters. I don't know if y'all could see all that, but there you go. Amazon.com. Google it. nanobugged. One word, two G's. And thanks for listening. That wraps up my presentation of Nanobugged, the book, and why it is what it is. The Book of Now. I don't know how to, not sure how I'm supposed to stop this thing from recording or what I'm doing. Is that just a screenshot? No. How do I stop this thing? What am I doing? Let's see, let's try this again. Oh, right here. Somewhere right here, I think. Maybe I just closed the tab. Maybe. Well, I recorded all that, and now I don't know. I'm scared to do anything. I'm going to erase all that, right? If I do. This is, I just keep taking shots of the screen there. That's not right. Boy, I figured it out one time a while ago, and now I'm not sure what's up with that. But